Three, two, one. Hello, everybody. Welcome to RSP podcast with me, Rajjan Parmar. I'm here with Meigo Mark, an interesting individual who introduce yourself, Meigo. How are you?
Hello, Rajjan, and all the listeners. My name is Meigo, and I am born in Estonia, in Northern Europe. And I have a very big dream to travel around the world, but to do it mostly by only walking. So the goal is to walk minimum the distance of planet Earth's equator in about 11 to 12 years.
Wow. So that's a great target. So I'm getting this right. Is it in 2015 you set out from Estonia and you walked, am I right, all the way to Indonesia?
I started 2014, now already 6 years ago. And that's correct. I walked from Estonia all the way to Indonesia through 22 countries.
So to 22 countries, and I've written here that's 20,000 kilometers and 12,427 miles over 4 years and 3 months.
Yes, that's correct.
I mean, what a journey! I mean, that is unbelievable. So, I mean, let's start at the beginning. Had you traveled much before you set out on this?
I've done some short trips. I think longest one was almost 2 months. I traveled in Europe, went to India. My big the big trip was to India when I was only 18 years old. And I went there for a month and a half and traveled over 6,000 kilometers through India. And that really something changed me after that first big trip. And I really started to love traveling more.
I think India is always a good place for that to start off. I mean, I think so many travelers always say how much they love India. But then, so let's talk about the route. So 22 countries. Can you name them?
Yes, I started from Tallinn, the capital of Estonia, in northern Estonia. Then crossed through Estonia, Latvia, Lithuania, Poland, Slovakia, Hungary, Romania, Serbia, Bulgaria, Greece. That's exactly 10 countries in Europe. Then I crossed through Turkey, Iran. Then after Iran, I did not walk in Pakistan. I went overseas to India, then cross India, and until now India was the biggest country I ever walked. It took me 7 months to cross only India. I was in Nepal, Myanmar, Thailand, Cambodia, Laos, Vietnam, then went overseas to Singapore, then walked in Malaysia, and then across the sea to Indonesia.
Wow. So, what made you? What question I always ask people who walk? What makes you walk? What makes you decide? I'm going to walk. It's going to take a massive time, but I'm going to walk. I'm going to walk from Estonia to Indonesia. Where did the idea come from?
That's a very good question. It started actually quite suddenly. Before the walk, I was reading some books about traveling around the world. One book was from Francis Chester, and when he was over 60 years old, he started the journey around the world on a small boat, and he was the fastest man to journey around the world on a boat. And I read his travel journals, and daily writings, and I was so impressed. Wow, to travel around the world would be very interesting. And then one day I saw a TED talk about one Canadian man who had walked 11 years over 65,000 kilometers. 11 years, he was just walking in 5 continents. And then I was shocked, I was, wow, this is possible, this kind of thing. Then I did some research, found in Wikipedia that there are already over 10 people who have walked or run around the world, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60,000 kilometers, just continuously walking or running. And then that was really, something very big changed in me. I felt, wow, I also have a lot of energy. I can also do it. Was my first instinct, and then after some time this seed started to grow and grow and grow, and it became like an obsession that I felt I just have to do it, I have to start. and it became like a very big dream for me. And it started to everything else in my life very peacefully moved to that direction. All my relationships, everything very peacefully, everything moving only that direction. And I felt that is the only way. I just have to do it. It felt like the only way to continue on with my life. So that's how it started.
But it started, so that's how it started. And so, I mean, I was reading on your blog. I mean, you started with a budget of an overall, what was it, €8 in your bank account?
That's correct. It's total bank, and in my pocket was €8.
Well, did you not think even just make a bit of money before you get what made you decide, €8, that's it, I can do it on €8?
Yes, before I started, I had my own house. So just a few days after I started to walk, I had rented out the house. I found some people, and I was waiting. The rent money, the first money was coming. So I felt I cannot delay anymore. I have to go. So the first week I was even eating some leaves. I was even collecting some edible leaves from the roadside, just washing them and eating some bread.
Surviving on leaves and bread. Wow,
Yes,
that's
basically, yes.
unbelievable dedication. That's so just and I mean, sleeping, you were camping most of the way then?
Yes, I was in 4 years. I was camping over 650 nights just alone in
Wow.
random places.
Beautiful, beautiful. And then so sorry, you were saying that you were renting your house out.
Yes.
And so you were on you were on a monthly income that these people renting out your house, and then so you were able to get money every month because of that.
Yes, that's correct.
Wow, that's good. That's really, really good. And well, this is just a question I was just personally interested in. Is how many pairs of shoes did you go through?
I used 24 pairs of shoes.
20 pairs of shoes.
Yes, but some shoes I totally ripped off. Even I fixed some shoes. I had very big holes in the bottom, and some shoes I have to change because they were a bit too small. So made many blisters or made my leg broke. But
Yeah.
24.
Wow, 24 pairs of shoes. I mean, that's unbelievable. And so,
but I did not have. I had only a few pairs of very expensive shoes because most of the time when I was walking, I tried to find some very small roads, like some very peaceful village roads, parallel to bigger highways. And many times when my shoes finally totally broke, I was just very far from any big places. So just the local people gave me some very normal, simple shoes from their homes, or I bought from some very cheap village shop, and they were not very high quality shoes also.
but I suppose it's better than no shoes, isn't it?
Yes,
Yeah.
that's true.
Well, like, let's talk about your actual walking, and let's talk about your route. So let's divide it into sort of three odd sections. And so let's start Estonia to Turkey. How long did that take you going through all those countries? Hear about some of your experiences from each one.
To cross Europe, it took me 4 months, almost 4 months, over a bit over 3,000 kilometers. 10 countries in Europe. Then I was a bit over 100 days. I crossed Turkey. And please say again, you want me to talk about every country or?
Yeah, just some of your favorite experiences from the country, because obviously, Europe's native to you and me, isn't it? We know Europe quite well. Did you find any surprises along the way while you were walking through Europe? Because there's some lovely landscapes down there.
Yes, and also every country is different. Like it's very interesting. People are different. Nature is different. So always the ever-changing newness is very exciting. And then some of the countries I never been, so it was very, very exciting. And also because of walking, I crossed mostly in non-touristic areas where normally travelers never go. So to go very deeply in some very remote villages and become very close with the people there, that's some of my I think most special memories. To stay in some very, very small villages, very far from cities, and become very close with some village people, like in Serbia, in Hungary, and many countries.
Yeah, lovely. And And like, what I mean, I'm guessing, like, just in Europe, so that we'll ask this, is that like, did many people ask you why are you walking? Did they not think get a bus, get a train? Did they not ask why are you walking?
Uh, Not so much as in Asia. I think in Europe, when I walked, I not looked different from the people. So not many people bothered me. I was just like some backpacker walking, and people who stopped to ask. Then I told that I have a dream to walk through Europe. At that time, I told through Europe, and then some people asked like why.
And what did you say to them at the time? It's just my dream.
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
just want to do it.
Just your dream, just your dream. And where would you say in that area that like that what country did you have the best experiences in that from Estonia to Turkey?
Uh, I really loved Serbia. Somehow I remember Serbian people very warm.
Yeah.
And also it's hard to say because my walking route is very narrow. Every country that I cross, I see very limited places. So
Yeah.
I see like one country, I see the east side, other country, I see the north side. So,
Yes, of course, yeah.
uh,
We
and and sometimes the west, east, north, south side of one country, they are very, very different. So.
yeah. But I mean, so what's can you give us a nice story from Serbia?
Once I arrived to one village, small village. I remember the name was Veliki Popovic, and I arrived there Friday evening. And then some people invited me to drink some beer with them. I drink very, very little. Normally, I almost not drink at all. But then I started to drink with them, and then one guy said, "Oh, I want to send you out from my village." So he was walking with me, send me all few
Oh.
kilometers already, and then he said, "Oh, someday if you come back, then please come to my home." And then I thought, actually, I'm very tired now. And they said, "Oh, come now, you can rest the weekend." And then they start to have a very big party Friday evening, and all the weekend I stayed there in the small village with most, how to say, so happy, so kind people, and it was very nice, wonderful weekend.
And
And
what like did you speak English? Like, did you speak English to them? What languages do you speak?
yes, they spoke
Spoke English.
perfect English.
They
Those
spoke
those
English.
people.
Okay,
Yes.
interesting. And was that common throughout like most of those countries in Europe that you went to?
I think no. Some smaller villages they did not speak. I try to learn every country I go. I try to learn also the local language
Yeah,
as much as I can.
it's very important. Yeah.
But one highlight from Europe was even not with people. It was with one dog who I found in Hungary, and
Mm.
who started. I found him very remote roadside. Gave the dog some water and food, and then the female young dog started to follow me. And for exactly 10 days, we walked together almost 200 kilometers, and every day just she slept next to my tent. And every morning when I came out from the tent, she was so happy, just jumping on me. And then we
Oh,
continued to walk. And this is very fun because the dog never asking me anything, where we are going, why we are going. He's just pulling me, always walk in front of me with one rope. I found one rope because first day she was running all over the road,
yeah.
almost got hit one big truck. And then we even crossed the border to Romania, and then the border guards asked me their animal passport. It's a European Union law to animals need the passport to
Yeah,
cross.
particularly in Romania as well, actually. They have a real
Yes,
problem with dogs over there.
yes. But I told them I not have any passport, so they said, okay, go very fast.
Really, they let you through?
Yes, they let me through very fast, the border guards.
And when did the dog turn around?
I found the dog one nice home in Romania, in some village. I not remember the name, but some people who were working with like animal hospital, very kind people, and
Oh,
they took the dog because the dog started to get tired a bit. It was a
yeah.
young dog, young female dog, and I had some issues every time I crossed some village. Other dogs are parking, and
Yeah.
it was hard for the dog.
Yeah. What was her name?
I put the dog the name Happy.
Happy. Oh.
Yes.
Oh. So go on, continue.
Yes, it very beautiful dog with the gold and white hair, like shining in the sun very brightly.
Oh, that's so nice. That's so nice. So then, do you know the dog's still there now?
I don't have the contact anymore of the people
Oh, that's
who,
a shame.
so I should track it. Uh,
Yeah.
and 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 another highlight was with my sister who came to Greece. My mother and sister, they came to Greece to meet and travel together. And together with one of my older sister, we went to Mount Olympus, the highest mountain in Greece, to
Yeah.
conquer all the way to the top. So that very made me much closer with my
Yeah.
sister.
That's really nice. And did they walk with you as well?
Yes, my sister walked 3 days. We did some hiking in the mountain. Had
Ah,
many challenges there. She was crying and was very angry with me, but in the end, she was very happy that I
she did it.
pulled
Yeah.
her to the top.
Persevered. She persevered. Well, I suppose you're a great role model, aren't you? You're saying I'm walking the rest of the world. I'm sure you can walk up this mountain.
Yes, yes, but
Uh,
she was very strong.
yeah. Well, and then so from Turkey you crossed over into Iran, right?
Yes,
And
correct.
so how did you sort out your Iranian visa? Because I know, so for example, I'm from the UK where it's a little bit more tricky to sort out an Iranian visa.
I did in last big city that I walked in Turkey was Erzurum. So I was there, had some small Iranian embassy or some kind of office. So
Yeah.
I was waiting a few days and made the visa there.
And no problems with that? That was easy?
That was easy, but to cross the border to Iran was a bit difficult because I had overstayed my Turkish visa. I
Uh,
did not want to use any bus, so I overstayed my
yeah.
visa free time. So they asked me to pay a fine of many hundred euros, and I
Oh,
said I don't have it. I don't have it, so they banned me to enter Turkey for 5 years.
so you can't.
And then
So you. Oh wait, that was when was that? When was that? 5 years ago.
that was end of 2014, no, beginning of 2015. So now I could already go back.
Yeah. So now you can go back to Turkey. Yeah.
But they were very friendly. They had found I gave some big interviews, television and newspaper interviews in Turkey, and the border guards they found out about it, and then
Mm.
they were very friendly. Bring me tea, and then we watched football with them, and then said, "But don't worry, don't worry. If you want to come back, you just pay the money, and then you can enter earlier."
Oh, really?
And then they, and then
Yeah.
they told me, "Okay, go now. Your Iran visa already started a few days ago. Go now, very fast."
Yeah, don't overstay that one as well.
Yes, they were super friendly. Later, I read some stories how they put people in some quarantine in the Turkish-Iranian border who overstayed their visa. But I didn't have any issue.
Yeah, you had a bit of celebrity profile. So had people heard about your walk as you were walking through Europe by that time?
People in Estonia, yes, because in Estonia I started the blog, so some local newspaper first contacted me in my home state, then the national newspapers, and then many people know, and also many people started to send me letters. Wow, I saw your photos and your blog, how you write, so interesting. I feel like traveling together with you, and you keep the dream alive like that. And then they asked me, send me your bank account number. I really want to support you. So many people from my home country started to financially also support, which was very big surprise for me, and started to also
Oh,
to
that
make the journey a lot easier.
I bet that goes a long way as well, especially in places like, in India and Nepal where it is
Yes,
very cheap anyway, and that money like that
yes.
goes a long way. I mean, that's amazing. That's really it. So people, I mean, was this people from just Estonia? Was this people, did it grow to being people from other European countries?
Yes, not only European, but so many countries around the world later.
So
and
many.
also and also many local people. I stayed in over 220 local homes, over 200 homes with many families who helped me so much, and so many people on the road, local people on the road, especially smaller villages. Almost every day they stop me. Oh, why are you here? Where's your motorbike? Where's your bicycle? Here is not even a bus station. You are wrong road, very wrong road. Then I explain them my journey, and they get very excited. Oh, come! I buy you free drink, free meal. Like hundreds of people, just so much kindness in the world, especially some small people who in the villages, village people who live very relaxed, how to say, very like relaxed tempo. Their life is. Everyday life is very nice tempo, slow tempo, and they dedicate so much time. Everything stop, and they so much help I receive. That's really amazing.
I mean, this is something I've heard a lot. I mean, that comes up so much when I've been doing this podcast is that everyone is just saying that how nice people are to them when they are on the road, when they are walking and when they are traveling. And I think that is something inside a human which appreciates a sense of adventure. And even though they are not doing it themselves, in a way, helping you is you are doing it through them. I think this is something that I've heard quite a lot. Is that people know, like, knowing that they've helped you on your journey is a big part. And I can say that whenever I've met travelers, that if you've ever needed help or helped someone out, it's a good feeling, because unfortunately we live in a world now where this is uncommon.
I think it is very common, but it's not the everyday news or the headline news most people not want to make any problem and want to help if they can.
I mean, you hear way more stories about things going wrong than things going right, even though more or less things go right way more than they go wrong.
Yes. But that's not very interesting news.
Exactly, yeah, that doesn't sell the newspapers, unfortunately. So let's go on. Let's continue in Iran. So how long were you walking in Iran from?
I was only 1 month because I did not get the visa extension.
Oh, I see. So you walked from where? Did you walk from the northern border with Turkey? Did you go down to Briz?
I went, yes.
To Briz. So, like, I mean, Iran is somewhere I'd really like to go. So I really want to pick your brains on this. So tell us at the beginning. Tell us about your month there. Go week by week.
It was very, very amazing. It was, first of all, when many people heard you go to Iran, I received so much negative thing. Oh, you will get your head cut, or why you go there is so dangerous.
This is a lot.
Yes, and the reality was totally opposite. I had not even a smallest issue there, and entering from the border, everybody so friendly. And I think in Iran was the highest number of people who stopped me every day to offer me tea, biscuits, want to pack food for me on the road. Then the highest number of shops where I just went to a shop to buy water or some snack for the road. And the shopkeeper just refused to take any money from me. No, you are guest here, and the guest have to help the guest, have to honor and help the guest. And I said, no, I really want to pay, support the shop. No, it's good. It's very rude to offer even money in the shop.
Yeah.
So many shopkeepers. And I remember one day I was thinking, I should count how many people stopped me to give me the tea and some snacks. And I counted until 14. 1-4 in one day, and then I lost the count. and yes, just sitting in so many places, received so much help, and very, very gentle people. I found surely one of the most gentle people I met.
Yeah.
And they really want to say, please tell your friends we are not terrorists. They really worried what has the international media, what image has created about their country. People really worry. Tell them we are not the terrorists here. So many people tell, and very hard. How to say? I felt very heartbroken.
Heartbroken.
Yes, heartbroken when people almost start to cry. Please tell your friends that we are not like that. It's not like that.
Yeah, no, I think this is. I mean, I have never ever heard anybody have a complaint when they've traveled to Iran. Like I say, I've heard in the media people slating Iran, saying it's a terrorist nation and whatever. But whenever I've met any travelers who have been to Iran, they have never ever said a negative thing. Never. It sounds like a fantastic country to visit, and I really hope that the tensions can ease and more people like myself will be able to go.
Yes, and what a history, what a civilization, ancient, and what architecture, and it's so amazing. You can feel the ancient everything there.
I mean, yeah, there was. I mean, this is like the Persian Empire. I mean, in history,
Yes.
I'm massive on history myself. That I've got that the Persian Empire was the center of knowledge and education.
Yes.
And there's a very
Yes.
famous
Yes.
story about a library which used to hold a lot of knowledge, which was used to which helped fan the Renaissance and the Enlightenment period in Europe, which was burned to the
Burn
ground.
down. Yes.
That knowledge lost. So a fascinating place,
Yes.
Iran sounds
Yes.
like.
Yes, one of my really dream place to go again. It's also a huge country, so I would really love to explore the corners that I could not walk. So it's surely a future plan. I would highly recommend to people.
Yeah, I would love to. Hopefully, if I can get a visa, I'll try and make my way up there. And then so after Tabriz, what happened then? So how long did you have left after Tabriz? 3 weeks?
Yes, it took me about 1 week. So I arrived all the way to Tehran.
Oh, you arrived in Tehran. Is that where you stopped walking?
Yes, I stopped. I have to stop walking there because I tried to apply extension for the visa, but I almost got it. And then some people found out that I'm doing only walking thing.
Yeah.
And then maybe they think I'm some kind of spy, or it felt suspicious for them.
Yeah. See, this is
And
what I was interested in because I think as a British citizen, I know that I would not be able to get away with. I would not be able to walk across Iran.
yes, yes.
And so you're rejected because of that.
Yes, very gently, very, very gently.
Oh, really?
Yes.
They just let you down to say sorry, you can't stay any longer.
Yes, yes, and also in Iran, I don't know how is the situation now, but at least 5 years ago, it's impossible to use any ATMs with Visa cards because of all the Western world sanctions. So you have to have a lot of cash, and even things like Western Union or all kind of international money transfer systems, they did not working there.
Yeah, no, I've heard this in more recent years as well. So I think, I mean, the situation, I believe. But so what did you do for currency? Because I know, because yeah, like a lot of people say that you take out cash of these massive amounts of I'm not sure what the Iranian currency is. I can't. Is it a rial?
I don't remember.
But I also understand that from what I hear that there's a black market in US dollars.
Maybe yes. I
But
never had any
but
exposure to that.
but what did you use? You used the local currency.
Yes, I changed as much as I had. I
Okay.
changed in Turkey and entered with that. But I how to say, because I was walking in very small roads, I received so much help from village people, and I didn't do it intentionally. But one day I started to count. Oh, today I not use any money, zero at all, totally
Wow.
zero. And yesterday also, and then I count 6 days. Wow, 6 days. I had not used any money because local people just helped me, and they refused to take. It's not like I'm asking help, like I'm beggar or something. I insist I will pay for the food, for the accommodation, but they just refused, and they let me know that I'm very rude if I want to pay them. And like that, 6 days once I counted. Yes. So very hospitable. Yeah, very hospitable.
Yeah, that's I mean that's amazing. That's an amazing thing. 6 days without spending any money while abroad. And then so you flew to India, correct?
Yes. Yes.
Where did you fly into?
I flew to Mumbai,
To Mumbai.
to Bombay, and from the Mumbai airport continue 100% only walking. No bicycle, no train, no motorbike, no bus, no car, nothing. Just 100% walk.
100% walk, 7 months. So
Yes.
what states did you cross through? So
I started from Mumbai, then went to go to north towards Jaipur, then from Jaipur towards Delhi, and hundreds of small places between. And I looked at the map to remember Ahmedabad. What was the places between Ahmedabad? What other places? Bharuch. Started from Mumbai, then go to Rajasthan, Gujarat, if you ask the state. Then to
heading
Delhi.
north towards Nepal, correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
First I went to north, then from Delhi directly to the east towards Nepali border. And because I tried to extend my tourist visa, that was 3 months already in Delhi, but they did not allow. And at that time started to have Diwali. the festival of light, one of the biggest festivals in the year, and then they close all the offices, and then no one want to extend my visa, so I made a very fast walk to the border of Nepal, and then just before I arrived to Nepal, I had some connection with India and some people from like mafia people, and then they invited me to have a lunch, and everybody carrying a gun like that. They were just inspired by my journey, wanted to help me. And then they asked me why I choose this route. Then I told them I could not extend my visa. Even I contact Estonian embassy in India, an Indian embassy in Estonia. No one could help me. And then one man just made a phone call. Okay, if you want to go to the border, they will give you the visa there.
Really? And what? So you just went to the Nepalese border and got the visa?
I said, no need. I already made my plans. I don't want to walk now to the north. I wanted to visit Rishikesh and Haridwar, some northern places in India. But then I didn't want to make long search. But one man came to the border to meet me, and he's, are you the guy who want visa? Just sign here, and I give you new visa. So it was very funny how I contacted many days, so many different embassies and consuls. They did not want to help me, and then just one man made a phone call in 1 minute and had almost a new visa.
What luck! What luck! That's crazy. And so what, you got extended for another 3 months?
I did not, because I continued to walk through Nepal, through South Nepal, and then I made a new Indian visa and entered to Northeast India after walking many months through Nepal, and then I crossed 3 other months in Northeast India.
Northeast India, all the way to the border with Myanmar, Burma.
Yes.
And let's I'd like to talk about this quite a lot, because Myanmar's it's a very interesting country. It's in the news quite a lot for a lot of the wrong reasons. Its borders were closed for quite a while, I believe. What's your experience traveling there?
My experience was very nice. At that time, they didn't have the big issues with Muslim minorities there. And of course, some areas are closed to tourists. And I heard some very scary stories about those places. And I was also not allowed to walk one area. And there is one law in Myanmar that they cannot host any foreigners in their home. So it was one of the only countries that I did not sleep in any local home. Only one, zero local home.
Oh, interesting.
Only many temples with some monks, Buddhist monks. I was allowed to stay in temples. I did a lot of camping, wild camping, and some hotels. But many people on the road also helped me a lot. So many shopkeepers, restaurant keepers.
Do you know why that law is, that you can't stay in people's homes? That's really interesting. I've never heard that before.
Yes. I'm not totally sure.
Oh, interesting. But so was there any trouble with the authorities? So you're saying you got restricted from walking in one area. Why did you get stopped by the police, or were you just? How did you find out that you weren't allowed to walk in that area?
It's just closed for tourists. They cannot enter one eastern side near the border of Thailand. So I had to. They just stopped me and said, this area cannot go, only can cross with the bus, so cannot stop in any place.
So you had to get the bus over to Thailand?
Yes, to the border of Thailand.
And so how long were you in Myanmar for?
Just a bit over a month. A bit over 1 month.
Just a bit over a month. Then were you, I mean, just on average, I suppose I should have probably asked this at the beginning, but how many kilometers were you averaging a day? Did you have a set limit, or were you just seeing the day?
On my walking day, I was normally walking between 30 or 40 kilometers.
30 and 40 kilometers.
Yes, that's. I'm not sure how many miles.
And so you called that your walking day. So would you have like 1 day walking, 2 days walking, 1 day off, or would you not have a set routine? Or
I tried to do my resting days just how I felt. When I felt very tired, I rested. Sometimes 1 day, sometimes 2 days. Then I continued. Sometimes no rest for 10 days, just continuously walking every day 30 kilometers.
Okay. Okay. And so like by the time you'd finished in Myanmar, how long had you been on the road for now? Because I mean, we've traveled by about what, 13 countries at this point? 14 countries?
I was just seeing that the 30 to 40 kilometers is like 18 to 24 miles. 18 to
Okay.
24 miles was the average.
Okay. That's a reasonable. I mean, what's that on average? About 6 hours walking a day, maybe 7?
Uh, Normally all day because I was stopped every place so many times. I
Yeah.
was stopped. I sit one place 20, sometimes half an hour, sometimes even 1 hour in some place talking with the local people, then walk a few kilometers and stop another place. So
Okay. All right.
almost every day when I was walking, I started early morning and finished in the evening.
Okay. All right. And so yeah, like you've reached Thailand. How long have you been on the road for since then?
Uh, in Myanmar, I finished. I completed walking 10,000 kilometers in
10,000. So you're halfway.
Yes, yes, and it was 2 years. I celebrated 2 years there.
2 years of just. I mean, so halfway through, I'm guessing. I mean, did you miss home, or were you just focused on the road ahead?
No, no, I did not miss home at all. Also, my family members came to meet me. My mother had come
Uh,
to Greece,
yeah.
Turkey, and Nepal 3 times. My mother came to meet me, and
Oh.
also my sister. And it's very, very psychological. I feel totally that even now I'm not far at all from my home. It's just like a walking distance away. I just walk, and it feels very, very close, like just few villages away. Even now, I feel like it's just few villages away. And even if I think about the airplane, no matter where I am, in maximum 48 hours, I could be back home. So it's
Hmm.
really no
Yeah.
distance. It's not far at all. So I did not miss home. And also nowadays, because all of the technology can always call, hear each other's voice,
Yeah.
also me. So not
That's
not homesick yet. Yes.
but I mean, I'm guessing, yeah, by the sounds of it, that your family are all really supported of you. Like, did you? I mean, when you told them that I'm gonna start walking now, what did they say? Did they like go for it, or were they worried?
Yeah, they were all go for it. They all love to travel a lot, and I done some crazy things before, like hiking in some mountain deserts and staying weeks in the snow and some extreme things. So when I said only walking, it felt like
They were kind of expecting it at that point.
yeah, they were very supportive. And also my grandmother, who now passed away, she was so. I tried to call her every country and send some postcards. And every country I went, she started to read the books about that country. And I entered because I traveled very slowly, so she could finish many books about every country that I traveled. All the books she found, and then was making a route on the big world map, and was like also traveling through me. I think she maybe even had deeper travel experiences because all of the books she traveled like
Uh,
in the spirit or soul or imagination or others people experience this world.
that's and so I mean, your grandmother comes from Estonia, correct? Like she was
Yes,
Estonian, born and raised. Okay, and then so I mean, I imagine in her lifetime that it wasn't as easy to travel around when it was the
yes,
Soviet Union, etc. So I imagine
yes.
seeing her grandson go out and do this amazing adventure, so brave and so wild. I guess she must have been so proud.
Yes, she was very, very proud. And every time I called her, now I look back, I should have called much more. But every time I called, she was so worried that it is super expensive to call. Okay, okay, now stop, it's very expensive. And then sometimes I try to tell, no, I call from internet, very cheap, very cheap.
Yeah.
Don't worry.
Yeah. I mean, my
So
grandparents still haven't figured out the internet quite yet, so I don't have that luxury.
yes, so she was worried that I waste all my money for the phone call for
Oh,
her,
but I
which
bet
is
it
really
made her
great.
day. Every day, I bet it made her day.
Yes.
So let's keep going. Let's keep walking. So you crossed into Thailand. How long did you spend there?
I was there exactly 2 months. I had made a visa in Myanmar in the embassy and crossed there 2 months. Yes.
Yeah, 2 months. 2 months. So just north to south, straight to Cambodia.
I went to north to south to Bangkok, and from Bangkok directly to east to Cambodia.
And I mean, had you been to Thailand before? Like,
No,
did you have
no,
experiences? And
never.
this was your first time in Thailand.
Yes.
What were your first impressions like? I mean, a lot of people obviously have been backpacking in Thailand, but this is a bit different because, you know, you're walking through the whole of the place.
Yes, yes. My goal was not to go to touristic places or
Yeah.
for the woman.
Yeah.
So I kept focused on the walking
Yeah.
and
Keep
try
focused.
to explore the small villages and the people who are living in the small places.
Yeah. And I mean, I can speak from experience as well. And then people in Thailand are just so friendly, aren't they? I bet you had
Yes.
some amazing experiences of hospitality in
Yes,
Thailand.
that was the highest number of people stopped me on the road and then
Yeah.
gave me some things from their car. Gave me water, gave me some biscuits, cookies, bananas, all kinds of fruits, just bags and bags and bags of food. See me walking and stop and give me the food. Or some people saw me walking and asked me, "Oh, come, I give you a lift."
This
And
happens
now
a lot.
so many people want to give me a lift, and then I told them I only walk, and then they told how long I've been walking already, and then they went to a shop and came back to give me some food.
Okay.
Highest number of people just stopped on the road to give
Oh,
me some food.
yeah, this has happened to me in Thailand quite often as well. Yeah, so friendly, so nice. They're just yeah, they really really are. And so you kept going to Cambodia?
Yes. Went to
Cambodia. Tell us about Cambodia. This I've also been to Cambodia and I was a really big fan of it actually.
Yes, me too, me too. The people very, very, how to say, very sincere and
Yes. Yeah, very very sincere. They everybody there is really really nice.
yes, and all the children very happy to see you.
Yeah, yeah, it is. But I imagine walking. I suppose here I mean, you must have had to stick to tarmac road in Cambodia, right? Because of I mean, it has quite violent past, and I still think there's a lot of landmines in the fields, right?
Yes.
Uh,
Uh, I did not go like deep in the jungle, or I
mm,
stayed in some path, walking
yeah.
path. So
Okay. Yeah. So you didn't get wander off to the side. Yeah. Okay. And how long were you there for?
exactly 1 month. I could
One
cross
month.
easily in 1 month. Yeah.
1 month. Just what was that? Down south to Laos, or is it just continue
No,
east?
I was the northern side, only the northern side,
Okay.
almost directly to east, to the
Okay.
border of Laos.
And into Laos. And what about Laos? How long did you spend there? Some highlights from Laos?
Laos also exactly 1 month.
One
Exactly.
month. 1 month.
Yes.
Yeah. And just straight down into Vietnam there.
I went to Laos and then I walked to north, north, then to east, and then continued to, and then enter Vietnam. I went to north, central Vietnam, and from central Vietnam went to the north.
And am I right in thinking you're actually coming to us from Vietnam right now?
Yes, I am still in Vietnam, where I entered the first time over 3 years ago.
And do you live there out there now, or are you just staying there for a bit?
Yes, I will live here at least a few months more, and then hopefully can continue traveling.
And so where are you based, sorry?
I am now in one province called Tai Binh. It's from the capital, Hanoi.
Hmm.
It's just a bit over 100 kilometers
Okay.
southeast.
Okay. Yeah, Vietnam is probably my favorite country in Southeast Asia. I actually loved it. I think it's a fantastic place.
Yes, yes,
Hanoi is a dream of a city. There's something so special about it. But what are your highlights from Vietnam?
from Vietnam, I have the most highlights. It's the
Uh,
country that totally changed my life.
ah,
First, I entered from central Vietnam, and I walked 1 month from the central to the Hanoi, to the capital. And my original plan was to go to China, to
hmm.
walk from, continue to north to China. And I applied for Chinese visa and got rejected. Then again asked help from many embassies in China, in Estonia, and then got rejected. And then finally got approved. But I had to give a plan of every night where I stay, every night and show hotel bookings for every single night of my journey. But that felt truly impossible for my journey.
Yeah, and
because
so
I
I
never
can.
know where I will end up, and mostly I stayed in local homes or camping. So to
Mm,
make and then also I have to go out every month, stay 1 month, then go out and get another visa like that. So I
there's just no practicality in that, is there? That's too hard.
yes, so I changed my route, and from Hanoi I walked all the way to South Vietnam, over 3,000 kilometers. It took me over 3.5 months. But while I was waiting the visa in Hanoi, I met one Vietnamese girl, very, very strong girl. She's a runner, marathon runner, has run many, many marathons. And then we met in one tea party, and then she had read some magazine, Vietnamese magazine, wrote a story about me, and then she said, "Oh, I'm really impressed. I also have a dream to travel around the world for many, many years now. And I saw you walk. Maybe I could join your walk someday." And I tried to discourage her that it's very, very difficult emotionally, physically, and so many challenges like climate, sometimes desert, snow, monsoon, rainy seasons were just months and months of rain, and I continue walk and camp in the mud and rain. So I tried to scare her a bit, but then she said, "Oh, I'm very strong." And she started to show me some photos of her running marathons, like just last weekend. Weekend before she had run a marathon, and then I thought, "Oh, that girl is very strong." Then I told her that, "Oh, please," and then she told me that every early morning she goes for a run. Then I told her, "Oh, maybe I could join you, because now I'm waiting the Chinese visa, and if I just sit every day eating rice and tofu, then later very hard to continue to walk." And I told her that I also love running. Before the walk I ran a lot. Then she agreed, so I started to go running with her every early morning. And then after a few weeks of running, 2 weeks, we became closer and closer. And then finally, when I got the information that I did not get the Chinese visa and I have to change my route, then she sent me out from Hanoi by walking. She sent me out from the city. And then we said goodbye. Thought we never see each other again. But the next weekend, she came by bus to walk with me for 1 day, just for
Really?
1 day in the weekend. And then we walked together over 60 kilometers in 1 day.
Yeah.
That's from early morning. And then and after a few weeks, she came again by airplane. And then we walked 3 days together. She came by airplane just to meet me and to walk together. And then she continued to come. After 1 month, she came again to airplane in central Vietnam to Da Nang, then to Dalat by airplane, then to Ho Chi Minh by airplane. And then in 1 year, from January 2017 to January 2018, she came to meet me and to travel together with me exactly 10 times. Two times by bus and 8 times by airplane to 5 different countries. And then now we are married.
Now you're married. Wow. So that's it. So you met your wife out in that's how you met your wife.
Yes, that's
You're,
correct.
and so when did you get married?
We got married in October 2018. 2018, over 1 year ago.
So were you still walking at this point?
No, I started to have some health issues in Indonesia, in Sumatra island, because of carrying a very heavy backpack for many years. And then I changed my bag. I got sponsored by one Netherlands company to get a wheel bag that I could pull behind me.
Yeah.
And that made my walking much easier. I continued to walk over 1,000 kilometers, but I had damaged the carrying a heavy backpack had damaged some nerves on my shoulders and some blood vessels. So the blood flow to the heart was blocked a bit, and my heart started to have some rhythmic problems. So I ended up being in hospital in Indonesia for 5 days. I was just my heart was monitored for 5 days, and there was a rhythmic problem. It's beating slowly, then faster, and rushing like that because of the. And then they told me, of course, I have to stop on my walk, to pause. And then I did not know what I will do. Stay in Indonesia for many months. And then my that time girlfriend, her name is Sham. She immediately flew to Indonesia when she heard that I'm in the hospital. She immediately flew from Vietnam to there. And then she said, please, if you can come back to Vietnam, pause your walking, and when you feel your health get better, then continue. And then I came back to her.
You went back there, and then but so was that the end of the walk then?
That I would not say end. I put it in a pause. I hope to continue this year together with her.
Oh, lovely. So in between before we talk about the very end of the walk, let's rewind a little bit. So in between Vietnam and Indonesia, you were in Singapore and Malaysia, correct?
Yes.
And
in Vietnam, I had one of the biggest highlight was my mother came to central Vietnam, in Da Nang, and then we bought only one bicycle. Very, very good Japanese quality bicycle, and put our bags there. And my mother started to cycle, and I started to run next to her because I didn't have any backpack. And in 2 weeks, we covered over 220 kilometers through, near the seaside, through very, very small villages and some touristic places also. And it was very fascinating. My mother is super, super strong, so she was just cycling in the unknown land, and every day was a very big adventure for us. And even once we camped, and then my mother went back, and then after that, a few months after that, one group of Vietnamese people, one very famous Vietnamese internet marketer, he told me that he will come to join my walk, and then I didn't believe him, but then he organized a group walk. So 13 people, 13 people from different parts of Vietnam, they all flew to Saigon, then they rented one minibus, then came to meet me on the road, and then 13 people suddenly, a big group, joined my walk, and they had printed out T-shirts with the walk around the world, the same like my blog name. One guy organized that, and then we are a group suddenly, and we have to find a place for everybody to eat, to rest, to sleep, to use the toilet, and to drink, and it's very, very hot, and for 5 days, from early morning before sunset to late evening until sunset, from sunrise to sunset, we walked together as a group, and that was both mixed men, women. The youngest was I think 16 years old, and the oldest was over 50, one woman. So very diverse group, and it was so amazing how the group energy, they were so determined, and already after first day, so many people had so much blisters, their legs totally painful, but they continued. And it was very amazing. And for them, for the people themselves to discover their own country, the places they never been, some remote villages, to see the people there who are totally different from the people in their home place. It was very enlightening for them to see that side of their own country to explore.
Yeah, go on, continue, sorry.
Yeah, so that was one of the highlights also in Vietnam.
That sounds unbelievable. I suppose we're going back to this thing of that people are traveling through you as well, and to be able to share that experience with so many local people must have been really like amazing for you. It really must have been. And then so Singapore and Malaysia and Indonesia, and so the walk is paused until when?
Until Indonesia, in Sumatra Island.
Sumatra, and then when you're hoping to finish it this year, yeah?
I hope to continue it this year, yes, and then hopefully continue another 4 or 5 years.
Another 4 or 5 years solidly walking. So what happens after Indonesia? Where are you going to go from there?
I want to continue exactly same town where I had to stop and where I completed walking 20,000 kilometers through a lot of pain. Continue from the same spot, then cross the islands of Indonesia, Sumatra, Java, Bali, Lombok, then some Terra Nugana Islands, then Papua, then to Australia. I want to walk east coast of Australia, then Tasmania, then New Zealand, then come back up to north. Some Micronesia islands there in the ocean, some tropical islands, then Philippines, Taiwan, a bit of China, Hong Kong, South Korea, Japan, and from Japan hopefully can go to Canada and then cross North, Central, South America, then some part of Africa, and then back to Europe.
Wow, and then back to Europe. So how long did you say you want that to take you?
Minimum 4 or 5 years more.
Minimum of 4 or 5 years.
Maybe even 6. like that. So my goal is to walk minimum the distance of equator, the circle around the equator. But now but I not want to break any speed record or.
Yeah, you're just doing it for the walk, and I think that is probably the best way to do it as well. And I suppose like one really big thing I wanted to ask you was, well, I mean, obviously the journey you've gone on, it took over 4 years. You're on the road for 4 years. What is a journey like that? What is an adventure like that? What does that do to someone as a person? How would you say it's changed you since walking? I know it's also a hard question, but I mean, how would you notice any changes in your personality or?
That's a very good question. Sometimes I feel I'm not changed at all, and then I look some old video of me, then I see that I'm changed a lot. And then sometimes I feel that maybe I'm not changing much, but only becoming more myself, really understanding who I really am and who I really have the potential to become, and everything else just falling away. That's not for me, or that I don't want to become, or something like that. It's like how to say, like a tree. Like, for example, an apple tree is always an apple tree. It's just growing as an apple tree, not becoming, not changing into another tree, just being, growing in itself.
Wow, that is an amazing way of putting it. And like I said, I really wanted to speak to you because I think your story is inspiring. Walking is dedication, and it's hard work, but it is dedication to a dream and a goal and an idea. And I salute you, sir, because you have followed your dream and you have followed what you wanted to do. And it sounds like you have had an amazing time and an amazing life on the road. Just before we end, I suppose, is there any other people you want to mention who helped you along the way, who you feel are honorable mention?
There are over 2,000 people who helped me a lot on the road.
Yeah. So go on, go on, give us one. Just give us one that sticks out in your mind. Anyone that sticks into your mind.
I would love to mention the homes where I stayed, the people who opened their homes, who trusted me, first of all, who trusted me to invite me to their homes and then open the doors of their home and their life. And sometimes I stayed in some homes for 1 week, 2 weeks. So these people were very.
They'll always stay with you.
Suddenly I remember the speech that it's a bit silly, but I saw the speech what Snoop Dogg recently gave. They opened some star for him in the Hollywood, what's the Walk of Fame, something like that.
Yeah.
He said, I would like to thank myself for all the hard work I put in. When I speak about myself, I not give up.
Well, you know that rings very true for you because you've walked on your own 2 feet across the world and done unimaginable feats, and you should be very, very proud of yourself, sir.
No, don't please call me sir. That's very silly.
All right, it's just no problem. And one last question I want to ask you. This is just it just popped into my mind now. Is what country are you most excited to visit now? Now that we were speaking earlier that you've been to 42 countries, so there's 150 of them left. Which one are you most excited to get to?
I think every country, because now I've seen how every country very diverse. But I'm really waiting to walk Japan, the islands of Japan, also to cross Australia. That would be a very long walk, a very very challenging walk because of some desert areas and wildlife. Also, it would be interesting to cross the America and see the South America. Also, Africa. I'm very curious about African countries. I know one couple who walked through Africa. One couple, they took them, I think, over 3 years. They made one film even about their walk.
Well, one book I can recommend to you is it's called Walking the Nile by Levison Wood.
Yes.
Yeah,
Oh, Lavisan is a master. I really
yeah,
love
yeah.
this
He's
series.
really cool. Yeah, he's really cool. So yeah, I think there's a new series coming on tonight, but that's another thing. But yeah, this is there. Yeah, that's a good book, and that's what inspired me to go to Africa. And I was meant to be going, but unfortunately, due to COVID-19, my plane was cancelled. So it will have to be another time, I'm afraid. But
Okay.
thank you so much for coming on. I've really, really enjoyed this conversation. Would you like to do any promotion about your own social media, where to follow you, where to find you?
Yes, please. Now I mostly update my YouTube page, putting there a lot of daily videos, and later when I continue traveling, will film every day.
Okay, lovely, lovely. Yeah, thank you very much. I've really, really enjoyed this. Follow him. He's an amazing guy, and I'm sure there's plenty more stories on his blog to go read as well. I'm sure we didn't even scratch the surface here. Thank you very much, listeners, and
Yes,
thank you.
hopefully someday we can catch up again,
I hope so. I hope so. Well, I'm sure I'll find you where you're walking
and
somewhere.
and should make a podcast with you to hear about your stories.
Well, anytime, man. You're more than welcome. I really enjoyed this conversation. All right, and stop recording in three, two.